eat foods from a plant, not made in a plant. You're eating live foods and you're gonna make you feel alive. When you eat foods that are like never to expire, you just feel dead all the time. Hello, welcome back to Single Mom on a Farm, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Marcy. I have 10 kids and we live on 36 acres in the Blue Ridge Mountains, where we love to run in the woods and in the meadows and pick berries. Today we're going to be talking about real food. It's January, and something I hear about a lot this time of year are different diets or people dieting or trying to lose weight, and it drives me crazy because I feel like I have a really good, simple answer that people can do without dieting, and that is to eat real food. So what is real food? First off, it is just single ingredient. What it is: apples, oranges, grapefruit, lettuce, blueberries, cranberries, any fruits or vegetables is a real food. Eggs and other dairy products like milk, raw milk especially, butter, cheese, nuts like peanuts and almonds and cashews, and things like wild rice, which I just buy in bulk and keep in a container like this. We also have eat a lot of beans, so any pinto beans, black beans, white northern beans. And then there are meats like chicken, pork, ground beef, any fish. So it is just one ingredient: fruits, vegetables, dairy, and wild rice, the meats and fishes, like I said. And then if you're looking for a packaged food, then you also try to find if it's just one ingredient. Like here are some strawberries, and it just says freeze-dried strawberries. So that's all that would be. Here's just a package of almonds with nothing added. This is ground flaxseed, quinoa, raisins, you get the picture. And then it can also be natural sweeteners like honey and maple syrup are also count as real food. And I first got this idea of real food from a book that I found at the library. I came across it on accident and one day, and when I went to pick it up at the library, I found it on hold on accident and I devoured it in one day. I was nursing my 3-month-old baby. She was my youngest, and just read the whole thing, and it was so good, and it made me converted to her way of thinking. It's by Lisa Leek, and it's called 100 Days of Real Food. And I don't get any money or any credit. She doesn't know I'm doing a video about it. I just wanted to share what was life-changing for me, because I have so much better health now, and I'm so glad that I came across this book. So I'm going to be talking about it a little bit. So one of the things that she talks about first is why would she want to do this? So she did a pledge of for her family. She has 2 little girls and her husband, of eating real food for just 100 days. And so she could only eat real single ingredient foods like this. And then after the challenge was over, she kind of stuck with this, and then at least 80% of the time, and then the 20% of the time, she was okay with eating some condiments because they're not real food. And then packaged ingredients as long as they had like 5 ingredients or less. So for example, if you pick up a bag of chips, then just read on it and see. So this has organic blue corn, organic sunflower oil, and sea salt. So she's trying to just pick up packaged things that have 3 ingredients or less. Here is some wheat Chex. It has whole grain wheat, sugar, salt, molasses, and baking soda. So 5 ingredients or less, and things that you would have in your home naturally, and words that you can pronounce was her rule. The few exceptions for the 5 ingredient rule would be things like muesli or trail mixes when they are going to have more than 5 ingredients. For example, this has whole grain wheat, dates, sunflower seeds, raisins, whole grain rye, whole grain barley, oats, triticale, almonds, flaxseed, and walnuts. So that's more than 5 ingredients, but all of those are real food. A walnut is a real food. An oat, an almond is a raisin, it's a real food. So it's okay if you're combining a bunch of real foods, you know, obviously into a fruit salad or something like that, or a muesli. So some of her benefits right away, she says, is her daughter was completely free of constipation within 5 days of starting real food. And her daughter also got rid of her asthma. She'd had asthma pretty bad. They'd had been, you know, normally getting sick a lot, and that dramatically went down. Of course, everyone's going to get sick, so it didn't go away, but their amount of colds went way down, and flus and bugs, and they were able to heal much faster from them. Was another huge benefit. For me and my family, the benefits have been pretty similar, you know, like no constipation, no heartburn, gas cramps, better iron levels, more energy, I think, is my number one thing about eating real food. I have 10 children, like I said, and before I was starting to feel kind of depleted and overwhelmed and worn out. When I found this book, my baby was 3 months old and my oldest was 17. And I was just, you know, busy with 10 kids all day and feeling, you know, afternoon slumps, just grabbing stuff to try to keep my energy up. And I had thought I ate pretty healthy. I did try to eat trail mixes and whole grains and stuff, but I also ate a lot of labeled foods that said low fat or low sodium or heart healthy. And come to find out, there's a lot of junk in there that you can't pronounce, that you don't have in your cupboards, that you really don't want in your bodies, that aren't doing you any favors. So real food was very eye-opening for me. And I feel like it fit my belief of eating the foods that God created. He didn't create all those things that you make in a plant. And someone said, eat foods from a plant, not made in a plant. So I really like that. So try to pick anything, eat anything that you can pick, grow, hunt, gather, milk, things like that. That's a great rule of thumb to remember. So I've noticed a lot more great benefits. I think I'm less hormonal and PMS type of things. I feel like I've had better teeth, better nails, better skin. A big why of why Lisa's family wanted to do this was because she had heard that heart disease, diabetes, stroke, and cancer are all in the 4 top diseases that are killing us these days. And she really wanted to reverse that. She really didn't want that to happen to her family. And she decided that they just needed to eat the basics of real food. And of course, the spices and herbs are great. So, you know, you can cook anything and still have a super healthy meal. That's about it for what real food is. So if you have any questions, then please let me know. So one question I get a lot is, isn't it expensive to eat real foods? And it's yes or no. So I'd probably do a whole video on how to eat this on a budget. And Lisa actually has a book, 100 Days of Real Food on a Budget, that is super duper awesome. And it has a ton of recipes, super healthy recipes, and how to eat on a budget. But I'll just mention a few things. One is like the dried beans are way cheaper than canned beans or already made refried beans. So you're saving a lot of money that way. But the first thing I did was cut out all of like the processed foods, like the chips and stuff like that, and substituted them with real food. And I found it was actually cheaper to use the real food. So for an example, we used to eat grilled cheese sandwiches just on like that flimsy wheat bread, kind of dyed wheat bread with chips for, you know, a lunch. And my 14-year-old son could eat like 4 of those sandwiches and probably 3/4 of a bag of potato chips all by himself. He was a cross-country runner, not cross-country, just a track runner. And so I got rid of the chips and instead bought a bag of carrots. Now, 1 bag of carrots is a lot cheaper than about 2 bags of chips. It would take at least 2 bags of chips to feed my 10 kids. And so that saved me money right there. It was just swapping out carrots instead of chips to go with your sandwich. And then I also changed out the bread. I started making more homemade bread. I've always been kind of a big homemade bread person, so that wasn't super hard. But I started trying to make it more often again because I kind of put it on the back burner having 10 kids. So you can start making homemade bread. And then I also would buy Dave's Killer Bread, which has a lot more fiber. I feel like it's a pretty healthy alternative, especially for those teenagers. And he would only eat like 1.5. So homemade bread, Dave's Killer Bread, or a local bakery like Great Harvest makes really good wheat bread with just 5 ingredients. No preservatives or additives, so it's gonna go bad in about 4 or 5 days, but it's super healthy and it's nutritious and it's filling. So those are the easiest things to do for helping with your budget. Dried beans and the wild rice, like eating more the real food is going to be more filling and it'll save you a lot more money. The things that don't save you more money is if you're going to buy like dried kale chips or something, like organic, these weird things that are still in packages. But if you just switch to the real foods, you're going to be saving money or spending the same amount of money. Like it's not going to be expensive for you. The things I do buy that are a little bit more expensive is probably the organic grass-fed butter versus like margarine or butter. And maybe like organic honey versus like regular honey, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Just start with the eating the real foods, the nuts and the beans and the seeds and the fruits and vegetables, and just don't buy any packaged foods anymore. And you will end up saving money or using the same amount, and it will not be as expensive as you think. One huge benefit of eating real foods is that you'll be full more quickly and you'll feel satisfied more quickly and just enjoy your food more. So your body is craving, say, like a vitamin, and maybe it's like a potato, but instead you just eat like a whole bunch of potato chips because your body's looking for the vitamins that are in potatoes. Instead, just eat one potato. Potatoes are really cheap. Instead of eating a whole bunch, you have to eat 5 bags of potato chips to try to find any of the nutrition in a potato. So just going straight to that source. So if you're snacking a lot and looking for food, it's because your body is naturally wanting vitamins, and so it's seeking them out. If you want vitamin C, instead of eating a strawberry flavored Pop-Tart or something, go straight to strawberries, an orange, whatever, and you'll feel so much better. Your taste buds will change when you eat real food, and I love that. Like, I don't even have any desire for processed foods anymore. Every once in a while we'll be at an event and I'll just be like, well, I'll just try a bite of a cupcake or something, and it's like I can tell it's just not made with real food. I do make cupcakes and stuff, but I'll use all whole wheat flour and organic cane sugar or honey, and it's just more filling because it's real ingredients in my house. Michael Pollan, who is a very famous food expert, he did say that you can have all the junk food you want as long as you make it at home. So I don't know if that's completely true, and Lisa didn't say we just eat all the junk food we want now. But she did say, it's good to kind of keep that in mind. Like, if I'm making it at home, it is going to be so much healthier, and I kind of can eat as much as I want, with the caveat of, I make homemade brownies, and they're with the whole wheat flour, and I put flax seeds and hemp seeds and chia seeds in them, and you are really satisfied after just one. You're not going to be able to eat very many because they're so satisfying, especially with a glass of raw milk. It just hits the spot, and that's all the treats you need for the whole day. So you are saving money and you are saving, calories if you're counting calories. But the main thing is you just feel alive. You're eating live foods and you're going to make you feel alive. When you eat foods that are never to expire, you just feel dead all the time. You don't have the energy that you need. And everyone deserves to feel good. Everyone deserves to have energy and to feel alive and enthusiastic and doing what God's created them to do. And that's why I still try to eat eat these real foods so much. I want to feel that alive and that energeticness that I need to keep up after my family. Now, one disclaimer, because I'm sure you're going to go back and watch all my videos and you're going to see the trash that I have on my kitchen table. And one thing is that sometimes I let it slide, I picked up these books again, and I'm going to try to get back, a little bit better with my kids. But another disclaimer is that I try to eat almost all real foods. And now Lisa talks about doing 80 and 20, that during her their pledge, they did 100 days of real food. But since then, they just do an 80-20 rule. She really believes in moderation, that, it's okay to have things that aren't completely real food every once in a while. And I like that too. I believe God wants food to make us happy and fun, and if you're at a pizza party and you eat a piece of pizza, that's fine. But most of the time, I try to eat almost 100% real foods. So if you see it on my table, it doesn't mean that I'm eating it. But I still allow my kids to pick and choose. But yes, I do need to do better with my kids. We do have some exceptions of things like when we go camping. I almost always let them buy some Pringles to eat with the hamburgers because they're just easy to pack. But with the hamburgers, I try to buy the 100% grass-fed organic hamburgers with the Dave's Killer buns for it, and I do lettuce and tomatoes and an organic ketchup with no high fructose corn syrup, and then the carrots. And so I feel like if they have chips, then, it's not too much of their meal versus just like a nasty hamburger and nasty chips and nasty soda and other things that you might find at a regular party. And that brings me to another point Lisa makes. So she said she's taught her kids really well what to do, what to eat. And if they go to a party, she teaches them, to still pick one or two of the foods that you do want to eat there, and then ask for substitutions of the other things or to not have them. So for example, if they have like pizza, cupcake, and a soda, then she's like, pick, maybe just one piece of pizza and the cupcake, and then ask for milk or water instead of the soda. And nobody's going to be offended. They're going to be like, wow, you want water? Of course, water's free. It's so much healthier. Good for you. So I like that. They gave me some confidence of like, it's not rude to say, I don't want soda. And I like to teach my kids also just to pick a couple of the not so good foods and try to find the best foods. If there are fruits and vegetables out, grab some of those to eat with the pizza or whatever. And another thing is when my kids do go to a party or a social or something, I try to feed them before we leave. So I might make them a really nice salad or, a good healthy sandwich or a little bowl of soup to kind of fill them up, or at least I feel better that I've given them like some of my pumpkin chili that has so many vegetables from our garden in it and grass-fed beef, and that they're gotten good nutrients. And so then when they go to the party, they might just eat one piece of pizza or one hot dog instead of like 3. Or downing, the chips and the cookies and stuff. And the more that they eat like this, the more their taste buds have changed also. So, they can bite into a Twinkie and they'll just be like, ugh, this just isn't as good. And when they get one, it's, it's rare. If they do like it, you eat it and like, yeah, that was fine. But it's not something that they need to eat all the time. And they don't even want, they realize that it just doesn't taste as good. That the real foods from home have so much more flavor and satisfaction of eating than stuff out of a package. So please, if you are trying to go on a diet or lose weight, don't do that. Just eat the real foods that God has provided for you. Anything that you can grow and pick and eat from nature, how nature provided it for you, the eggs and the meats and the fruits and vegetables and the beans. And you'll feel so much better, I promise. It will help you with your migraines, or if you're trying to help with diabetes or heart disease, or just have the energy you want, or to lose the weight or maintain weight, then just eat real food. You will feel so much better. I have been 115 pounds. I'm 5'2" ever since my 10th baby was born, and I feel great. I feel like I have the energy I need to take care of my family. I haven't had to worry about dieting or denying myself food or wondering if I should eat this or not. If it has real food in it, I'll eat it, and if it sounds good. If it doesn't, if it's got processed food in it, I don't want it at all. My taste buds don't even want it. It's not even attractive to me. And I can even tell the difference when I do. So I know you got this. I'm really proud of you for watching this and for trying. And if you need any help, let me know. You got it. I've probably rambled way too much. There's so much exciting stuff to say about real food that I want to share it all. So I'll try to do some little videos about doing on a budget or having your kids eat real food, or any other questions that you might have. I'll try to do a video for you because I love to talk about it. I love to help people. Again, I feel like everyone deserves to feel good. And this is super easy. You don't have to think about diets anymore. Just eat. If it's a real food, eat it. And if it has 5 ingredients or less, then it's probably good for you. Thank you so much for watching. And let me know if you have any questions. Marcy at singlemomonafarm.com. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Again, I'm not promoting her book. I'm just letting you know the parts that were helpful for me. So she has some impact on her health that she was really happy about. Then she has some different stuff about the grains and reading labels and some meat and some of the oils and fats. Now I really like this part. This could be helpful to you. She has a list of packaged foods like Cheerios, and she'll talk about the ingredients that are in them. And then she lists the pros and the cons. So she's never just like, this is a bad food, this is awful. She says why it would fit her real food plan and the bad things about it. Like it has more than 5 ingredients. So there's like Cheerios, Oreos, and there was like Goldfish and Lemonade Special K cereal. There was some healthy select soup that, you always think is healthy, but it actually had high fructose corn syrup in it. But then she mentions the good stuff. So I like that she's just not blasting food. Here's a lot about how to read the labels and what they mean. Here's about the labels on eggs and meat, which is really important. Here's how to start this if you want to. If you want to just like get rid of all your stuff, just go cold turkey and give it to like a food bank or something, or if you want to eat it up and then start new. Here's a lot of tips for shopping for it and some of the grocery stores that she uses. Here is a really helpful table about substitutes. So if your recipe calls for white flour, then you can use whole wheat flour instead, which is the only thing she uses and the only thing I use in my cupboard also. And, you know, swap out sugar and use honey or maple syrup instead. So she has a whole bunch of processed ingredients on the left and the real food substitute on the right, which I found really helpful when I didn't understand this. Then she talks about the condiments and how during the 100 days, they just didn't use any condiments or made their own because, you know, the ones in the stores do not have real food in them. And since then, she's like, you know what, I really liked the mayonnaise and ketchup from the store. And so, you know, once in a while is perfectly fine. We've cut back our intake, but I'm not going to just completely never have them again. A little bit's not going to hurt us that much. Our bodies are meant to repair themselves. You know, they can handle a little bit of toxins. So I like that. She's not just completely against everything. She lives in society. She's just like 80-20 is a great rule. And I love that rule also. So after some of her really good helpful tips, she has a lot of great recipes that are really, really tasty, great pictures, easy to read, easy to understand. And she'll talk about the products that you can buy, different kinds of corn tortillas, or if you want to make your own, she has a recipe for that, different casseroles, salads. So this is just a fantastic book. Here's a whole bunch about lunchbox ideas. Anyway, I'm not promoting the book, but it was awesome. So if you want to check that out from your library or buy it, or the one on the budget, I think she has several more. And her blog also has tons of recipes that we use, like the sloppy joes and everything. It is just awesome.